defending his title against the number 3 ranked lightweight contender, Ok Yoon. Can Christian clean out the lightweight division by defeating the only man left in the top 5? We're all excited to find out. Also on the One Revolution card, and here with us today is the youngest of the Lee sisters, Victoria Lee, who impressed us all in her first 2 fights in one. She's back for the 3rd time this year to face Victoria Souza. We're so honored that the One Women's Atomweight World Champion, Angela Lee, is also here to support her siblings and share with us her thoughts on last Friday night's One Empower event featuring the One Women's Atomweight World Grand Prix. Angela's expected to be back soon to face the winner of that tournament. It's so great to see all of you here together. Thanks for joining us. How are you all doing?
Doing good. Thanks for having us.
Great. Oh, sorry.
Doing good.
Yeah, thank you for having us. You know, it's so nice that we can all do this media together and, you know, over here through Zoom. So it's cool.
Yeah, a lot of exciting stuff to discuss, guys. Good to see you, Victoria. Good to see you, Christian. We've got all the media joining us from around the world. Let's get stuck into it. Media, you know the drill. To ask your questions, kindly raise your hand on Zoom, or please do send your questions in via the chat, and our fighters will address them swiftly. First up, we're going to go to Jay Anderson of Cage Side Press. Jay, go ahead with your question.
There we go. Hey, thanks very much. And, you know, I wanted to start with Victoria heading into this fight. You know, you're 2 fights into your career now, going into number 3. Just how different is the feeling going into this 3rd fight compared to bouts number 1 and 2 in terms of nerves and everything else in terms of preparation?
I feel like going into my 3rd bout, I'm a lot more comfortable. There's a lot less newness of everything, and I feel like I've been able to build upon my camp from the 2nd fight, and this 3rd camp's been going smoothly.
You know, Victoria is undefeated like yourself, so just give us your thoughts going into this matchup against her.
I think that my next opponent is tough. She has a 5-0 record, and I think it's going to be an exciting match because we're both finishers, and I don't think it's going to go to the distance.
All right, and for Christian, you're also on the card as well, obviously sharing it with your younger sister. What does that mean to you? I know you've done it with Angela as well, but getting this opportunity, what does that mean to you?
I'm very excited to be sharing my first event with my little sister, Victoria. You know, it's really interesting how everything goes, because when I first started my career, I was sharing the card with my older sister, Angela. And, you know, for the beginning of our careers, many of our fights were shared on the same cards. And so now, you know, me being the champion headlining this event, I'm really excited to have Victoria on the card with me as well. And, you know, we're going to put on a great show for the fans, and I'm excited to be heading to Singapore together with her.
And obviously, in your case, it's a title defense. In this case, Ok Yoon. Just let us into your thoughts on that matchup. And is there any part of you that kind of wish this was maybe Eddie Alvarez because of his notoriety and the higher profile that might bring?
No, you know, I'm glad that I'm fighting Ok. And in my opinion, Ok Yoon is the only guy deserving of the title shot right now. He's ranked number 5 in the division. I think, actually correct. Sorry, I believe he just got moved up to number 3. So, you know, he's the only guy in the top 5 I haven't faced yet. And Eddie Alvarez, you know, he was a big name coming over from the UFC. You know, when One Championship signed him, he had a lot of traction behind him. But since then, he hasn't done enough, you know, to build himself a run up to the title. So I'm still waiting on Eddie to start winning a few fights, and then we can square off in that circle. But for now, I'm very glad to be facing Ok, and I feel like he's the only worthy contender.
And last one for me too, Angela. Thanks very much for joining us with the, I guess, the youngest Lee there with you. just curious about your thoughts on the quarterfinals of the atomweight Grand Prix. Obviously, there was a little bit of controversy in the Denise Zamboanga versus Sohee Ham fight, and I just wanted to get your opinion on who you thought won that fight.
I think it's hard to say. I mean, it's a close fight. I did, in my eyes, I did see Denise, edging out the victory. But yeah, it was a close fight. Both of them landed. It's kind of hard when it goes into the judges' hands because there's been many bad calls before. I've been on the bad end of a decision. And of course it's frustrating. That's why I make it a point to, always try and go for the finish, because if you leave it in the judges' hands, you never know what's going to happen. But yeah, both of them weren't close to finishing the fight. And so it's kind of hard to say. But yeah, a lot of drama going on about that now.
Absolutely. And I'll squeeze one more in. Out of the competitors who are left in the Grand Prix, who do you see going to the final, and who do you think you'll be fighting down the road for your title?
All of the matches have been exciting. Who I see in the finals potentially is maybe Stamp and Ritu, I think. So we'll see.
All right. Well, thanks all of you for your time tonight.
Our next question comes from Leon Jennings of Asian Persuasion MMA. Go ahead, Leon.
Sorry about that. I had to step out for a moment.
Hey guys. First question for Angela. What do you think of the Zhong Jingnan versus Michelle Nicolini fight? And having fought both of them previously, what was your prediction going into that fight?
Yeah, I predicted that Zhong would win. I was gonna say that she might get knockout or TKO, but decision also. I think Zhong played it very safe. She played a very smart game. And yeah.
We'll see you, little over there. How is motherhood? How's training as a mother? And also, obviously, you're probably going to be competing in February now, not November. Is that a good thing, or are you itching to get back in there?
Motherhood is amazing. It's definitely changed me. It is different training now. Definitely have to schedule things, far in advance, and everything needs to be flexible because of the baby. But I'm very excited to get back in there. I've started to train again alongside my brother and sister as they get ready for their fights. And after this event in September, we're gonna be, kicking it into gear and getting my fight camp started. So very excited for that. And yeah, I think that fighting in February is gonna be great for me. It's gonna give me even more time to come back even stronger, and I'm really excited for it.
Looking forward to that. Richard, similar question. How's your first ever training camp as a father?
My first training camp as a father has been going great, and I feel so lucky and so blessed to have such a great wife and such a great baby, because my wife and my daughter, they come to the gym with me every day, so I never really have to be apart from them. We go in together in the morning, I train, and then we come home together as well. So so far training camp has been going exactly the same as it has every fight before, and I feel more ready than I've ever been.
Cool. And I know you're not looking past Oak, but there's a big card coming up in December. You've discussed before about moving up, challenging Abersoft for the welterweight title. Is that a possibility if you get through Oak later this month?
I definitely plan on moving up to welterweight and claiming the belt there. But right now, nothing is more important than the fight at hand, and I'm not taking Oak Ray Yoon lightly. So I would love to talk about the welterweight division, but I'll do so after I defend my belt.
Well, Victoria, obviously, Angela Christian, they've fought on the same card before. This is your first time competing on the same card as one of them with Christian. How do you feel about that?
I feel so excited to be. Oh, was that for me?
Actually, yeah, for you, Victoria.
Oh, well, I'm really excited to be competing with my brother. I think it's going to be a really cool experience to be able to travel and see how things go on fight week. I haven't been able to watch this fight in a very long time live, and I'm just really excited for that.
And obviously, you're an athlete yourself. Who impressed you, especially in the Grand Prix last week?
I think that the card last week was, everybody on that card was really talented, and I think that the most exciting match to me was the Stamp versus Rasohinia fight, because there was just so much action, and yeah, that was the most exciting bout for me to watch.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Our next question comes from Chris Mancuso of Tarpsoft Sports. Go ahead with your question, Chris.
Hi, Lee family. How's everybody doing tonight? How are we doing?
Doing good, thanks.
Great. So I'm going to lead off with you. That's awesome. That's awesome. Christian, I'm going to lead off with you. We had you on Jake Shields' podcast. Basically, you were a fresh father. First off, how are you sleeping? How are things going on that end? Things getting easier for you?
Yeah, everything has been going great. I've been sleeping really well. Thankfully, my baby girl, she loves to sleep through the night. And so it really, my wife and I, we've just been blessed with such a great baby. She loves to sleep. She loves to eat. And, she's growing very well. So everything has been going great as a father.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Now, have you noticed, you come back into it, you're just freshly a father. Was there any lag time going back into the gym, or was it kind of business as usual? Did you find any difference?
No, for me, I did have a few weeks of downtime just at home, enjoying the time as a father. But right away, I was back into the gym preparing. I sort of had a feeling that Oak Yoon was going to be the next guy. So really, I've been training for him since early in this year, shortly after my title defense. So I've been continuing my training as usual. I wake up, I go into the gym, and my wife and my daughter, they come in and follow me as well. So everything's been going just like normal.
You mentioned Eddie Alvarez on our podcast then. He got brought up earlier. There was actually blowback from that clip. I know one championship pulled that Eddie Alvarez got all excited. So say, for example, you do get through Oak and all of a sudden Eddie Alvarez wins his next fight in some sort of devastating fashion. Would you wait? Would you stay in the division to fight Eddie Alvarez before jumping up if he came out and showed you he belongs?
Absolutely. I think that's definitely a fight the fans have been wanting to see. And, all we're really waiting for is for Eddie to win a fight, and then we'll make it happen. So, not looking past Oak Yoon at all. Once I get past my next opponent, defend my belts, then I'm looking forward to seeing what Eddie can do in the division.
That's awesome. Thanks a lot, Christian. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Next up, we go to Kyle Siegel from Going Live podcast. Your mic is open, Kyle.
Hey, Christian, this is Kyle from the Going Live. We're huge fans. It's kind of funny, you just dispatch one's like two most ferocious strikers with ease almost, especially, with Timothy. What's like a 2022 look like for you? Your ultimate goal. Are you double champ? Are you just king of the lightweight division? What's your goal?
Well, I plan on clearing out the lightweight division by the end of this year. And really, after Oak Yoon, if Eddie can work his way up, he might be up there. But really, the lightweight division has been cleared out. So my goal for this year is to clear out the lightweight division. Next year, I plan on being a double champ and continuing to defend my belt in my lightweight division as well.
That's awesome to hear. And looks like your sisters left, so I'll ask you, if your sisters get to that point where they're atom weight, contenders, they have to fight each other. think that's a pretty good publicity Chaudhry could cash in on, or what?
Well, the thing is, every family is different. My family happens to be very close, and knowing my two sisters, they would never square off in a cage, not for any amount of money. And of course, it would be great publicity. I'm sure there's people that would want to see that. But a more realistic scenario is going to be Angela moving up to claim a second belt once she defends her atomweight title, right around the time that Victoria is going up to fight for the vacant atomweight belt.
Great to hear. Thanks, guys, and thanks for making the time.
No problem.
Next up, we have Dylan Bowker from My MMA News. Go ahead, Dylan.
Hey there. Thanks for taking my call. My first question there was for Christian, just because there's been some level of dialogue so far about a one championship show transpiring in America. I'm kind of wondering, what would the temperature be for you on performing on a show in America under the one banner?
I would love to, be the first person to headline an event when one championship comes to America. I live here in Hawaii. This is my home, and so America is where I live. I would love to headline that event, and I think that one championship coming to America would be very big. There's already a very strong following of people that watch every single one championship event or watch it on the rerun, because the time zones are very different. But I think that if there was a one championship event come here, primetime US show, then it would just build a huge following of fans for one championship here in America. And I hope to see more and more shows able to come to America by next year.
Yeah, that would be awesome for sure. And my follow-up question here is for Angela, because when I was speaking with your sister Victoria ahead of her last fight there, she was talking about how it was cool that you were able to reintegrate yourself into training, do some drills again. I'm kind of curious to hear your perspective, just being able to, get back to it alongside your sister in her burgeoning fight career.
Oh, I really missed being on the mats with my siblings, and so I was very excited to get back. I did have to ease myself into it. For me, that was difficult because I like to just go 100%, and my mind remembers where I left off. But yeah, now that we're kind of past that stage, I'm kind of getting back into, more serious training. It's so nice to see, just how much Victoria's been progressing and, really making a name for herself in the organization. So I'm very, very proud of her.
Appreciate the insights in that regard. And my final question here is for Victoria, because I was noticing your primary training partner there, Adrian Lee, captured his first national title there. Can you speak to the work you were able to get within him recently and just how great that was? Great as always.
Oh, it was awesome. Earlier last month, my little brother was able to win his first national title, and I believe he won it in 2 divisions, and I was just so proud of him. He's been such an amazing training partner for me throughout all of my fight camps, and yeah, I'm just so lucky to have him as a little brother and as a training partner.
Thanks so much for the time, everyone.
Reminder to media, you can either raise your hand and ask a question, or you can send your question in via text. This question comes in via text from Faris Farhan of Singapore Strike Sports, who asks Victoria and Christian, are you guys aiming for a first round win? Will that be tradition for all the Lee siblings? We'll go to Victoria with that one first.
Yes, for this match, I plan on finishing in the first round.
Same question for Christian.
This fight is going to end in the first round. First round submission.
Short and sweet. There you have it. Japanese media coming in with the question, Shinya Aoki is winning after the loss against you in 2019. Do you think he deserves a shot at the title again?
think that Shinya Aoki is an amazing fighter. And since losing the title to me, I believe he's won 2 fights. And so he's definitely back on a winning streak. And I think maybe one more fight against a guy in the top 5, and he would definitely be deserving of a title shot. But, I've heard some recent interviews of Shinya himself, saying that that's not something he plans on. So, I'm never going to call out, Shinya. I really like him as a friend, as a former training partner. And, the fight originated with him calling me out. But, for me, I have so much respect for him. I'm not going to sit here calling him out. If that's something that he wants, then I'm sure he'll fight his way up there.
Our next question comes in from Ivan Ruiz of Daily Tribune. This one's for Angela. What are your thoughts on the recent decision of ONE to review the match between Denise and Seo Han?
I think that, anyone who is on the bad side of a, bad decision, or the losing side of a bad decision, is going to call for it to be reviewed. Like I said earlier, I'm not sure. In my mind, both ladies, it was pretty even. Yes, I do think that Denise edged out the win. But neither of them were close to finishing the fight. And if there was a near finish, I think that would really be the deciding factor. But yeah, we'll see what ONE Championship decides. It's hard, when it goes to the judges, it's no longer in our hands. So we just have to wait and see.
Follow-up question from Ivan was, Denise has always said she wants to fight you. Any chance we'll get to see you duke it out inside the circle?
Yeah, I think so. I think it could happen. If she does end up, falling out of the Grand Prix, I think that if she had the fight with, say who's another person that fell out, Mengbo, if those two matched up and if she wins, then yeah, for sure, I'd like to fight her. I just don't think that you can have a shot at the title coming off of a loss. So I think she need to fight someone before getting that title shot.
A reminder that fans can vote for their semi-finalists still at onefc.com/vote. We have Itsuki Hirata, Seo Han, Stamp, Fairtex, and Ritu Fogat. So make sure you do get your votes in. We'll go to our next media question coming in via text. This one is from James Reese of Overtime Heroics MMA, who says, hi all, hope you're well. Question for both Angela and Victoria. With the impressive start that Victoria has had in the atomweight division, have you had the discussion of what will happen if Victoria keeps impressing and starts to mount a challenge for the championship? I think Christian touched upon this one earlier, but Angela, if you want to go first.
Of course. Yeah, so I'm really, really excited for Victoria. Of course, her skill level, I think, is such that she could definitely be a world champion in the near future. This is going to be her 3rd fight with the organization. I think a lot of times because her skill level is so high, people overlook the fact that she's still 17. She still only had 3 MMA fights. So, she said a lot of times in interviews, she doesn't want to rush the process, but I do think it's going to happen naturally. And, once Victoria starts climbing the ranks and taking out the top 5 in the atomweight division, I do see myself moving up to the strawweight division and looking to capture that world title. And I think that it's going to be the Lees making history again. So yeah, we'll see. Wait and see.
Question for Victoria: are you quite happy with that plan?
I think that's a great plan. Yeah, as I'm heading into my 3rd fight, I'm just taking it one step at a time, treating each fight like it's the most important of my life and just seeing where it goes from there.
Next question from James again says, are we all likely to see a 4th Lee sibling anytime soon? We've heard previously all the huge compliments aimed at Adrian, how he's training. How is he getting on? And is him joining one something that he's looking to pursue? We'll go to Angela for that one first.
Oh, if Christian wants to answer it, he can.
Yeah, go ahead, Christian.
Go ahead. Oh, go ahead, Ange.
So yeah, a lot of people, recently have heard about Adrian. He has been training alongside the three of us for many years now, and he's done very well in his last few competitions. He is still a sophomore in high school, so he has told us that he has an interest in fighting, but he does want to finish high school. But yeah, we'll see. His skill level is definitely there, and within a few years, I think it's really going to mature and develop, and he's going to be, a huge threat, if he decides to join one.
Christian, do you want to follow up on that one?
Yeah, just basically everything Angela touched on. Adrian is extremely talented. He's also elite. He comes from the same family. He's got the same training, and it's really up to him. He's got all the skills and all the talent in the world. So if he does choose to be a professional fighter, to join one championship, I think he's going to do extremely well and follow the same journey that the three of us have so far.
Victoria, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I agree 100% with what my brother and sister said.
Awesome. All right. Our next question comes from Andrew Mack of MMA Ireland. Andrew, your mic is unmuted.
First for Christian and Angela, coming from a family of fighters, you guys have been exposed to fighting for a long time. Now that you both have children, is it something you'd like to continue? Would you let your kids watch your fights when they're like 8, 9, 10?
Christian, do you want to go first, or?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I definitely am gonna have my daughter with me at my fights. I think that it'll be a very unique experience for her, added motivation for me, and luckily with our family, I know that my husband, my mom, my siblings, they can all help to watch Ava while I'm out there, and I know that she's going to be in good hands. Will I let Ava fight? That's a question I get asked a lot. And if you ask me, like, do you want your daughter to be a fighter? Honestly, I'm going to say no. Just I know how difficult it is, and I know there are a million other, opportunities for her out there. So I really want her to explore those other options and find her true passion, whatever that may be. But if she does have the same passion for martial arts, of course, I'm going to be supporting her 1000%.
Christian, same question for you.
Yeah, for me, of course, I'm going to have my daughter there with me in the future. It doesn't matter how old she is. This last event, I was really looking forward to bringing my wife and my daughter to Singapore with me to watch me fight. However, due to the COVID restrictions, my baby is not old enough to enter Singapore yet. Right now, they're not accepting babies into the country as they're not able to, vaccinate or test them. So unfortunately, she's staying at home for this one. But if the next event, one championship, brings the show to the United States, or if Singapore opens up, then my daughter will definitely be there in the front row watching me fight.
Awesome. And one more question for me, for all of you. So Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings recently hit theaters. The movie has been a beacon for Asians worldwide and given us something to look up to for someone who looks like us and has many of the same experiences as us. At the same time, as one becomes more popular in the West, you guys have also become icons in the Asian community to look up to as well. You're essentially the real-life versions of Shang-Chi, these unstoppable Asian warrior prodigies. Tell me, how does that feel?
Victoria, do you want to take that one first?
I haven't really seen like what that movie is about. I just know that it's based on like it's the first blockbuster Marvel movie with like the majority of the cast is Asian, and I'm just really excited to watch it. I've heard great reviews about it, and I think that it's really awesome to have such a big blockbuster film starred as like an Asian superhero. So I think that's really cool.
Angela, do you want to take that one as well?
Sure. So I am super excited for this film. I love movies and I try to watch them all as soon as they come out. Unfortunately, because I have a baby now, it's kind of hard to catch the movies in the theaters. So I was hoping that they'd be releasing it to stream like on Disney Plus or HBO Max or something, but no luck. I'm very excited for this film, and I think it really, means a lot for us coming from, our Asian ethnicity, also being martial artists. I think we can relate a lot to the movie, and just having a Marvel superhero who looks like us, who comes from our same background, we can relate on so many different levels. So very excited for this film, and yeah, I think it's going to be a hit.
Christian, do you have thoughts on that one?
For me, I haven't really heard much about the movie yet, but I think it's great that they're incorporating every ethnicity and making them into Marvel superheroes, and I'm glad to see every ethnicity up there on the superhero blockbuster list, and I'll definitely be looking for it in the movies when it comes out.
Could you guys just respond to how does it feel to be like an Asian icon that people can look up to, like Shang-Chi as well?
For me, I think it's a great honor to be somebody that other people can look up to. For me myself, I try not to put myself in that position where I look at myself as a role model, but I know in the line of work, being a champion, naturally that is going to happen, and I'm very grateful that I have this platform to really set a good example to all of the young kids out there, or anyone aspiring to be a fighter, to be a world champion in anything in life. And I just feel extremely grateful that I'm in this position where I can impact people, hopefully in a positive way.
Angela and Victoria, anything you'd like to add to that?
Yeah, I think that representation is extremely important. And, for myself and for my brother and even for my sister, Victoria, to be on this kind of platform where we get to voice our opinions, stand up for things that matter to us, and, kind of raise awareness for important topics. These are all things that I feel I'm very lucky to do, and that I'm able to touch so many people. And I think it's a huge responsibility for us, but it's also a big honor to be role models to kids, to women, to everyone all across the world.
Victoria, anything to add?
Yeah, I just think I'm really lucky that like people that the like Asian superheroes and the role models that other little kids are looking up to in this movie. I mean, I've grown up with them in my household. They're my brother and my sister, my mom and dad. And so I think with this movie, it's going to be, something that other little kids have someone to look up to as well.
All right. Thank you for the time.
Our next question comes from Nick Atkin of SCMP MMA. Go ahead, Nick.
Hey guys, just wanted to go to Victoria first. What's it been like kind of going back to normal life after your last win and getting back to school? Does it kind of bring you down to earth, or do you enjoy that side of it? And I imagine you just take it all in your stride like you have done throughout your career.
Yeah, after my second fight, I just went right back into school, starting off my senior year, and it's different, but it's the same. I mean, I'm incorporating my training schedule as I'm preparing for my third fight camp, but also I have to incorporate schooling and homework. So it all balances out, and I think it's neat that I'm kind of living a double life now.
Yeah, and you got the next fight coming up, but you've been very busy. Would you like to fight on that December card as well, the 10th anniversary card, and get a fourth fight in this year?
As I've said in previous interviews, I would love to stay as active as possible. But for right now, I'm just primarily focusing on my fight in 2 weeks. And I just want to give my 100% focus to it because this is the most important fight of my life, and I'm not going to look past it.
Can't wait to see it. And one for Christian. What do you need to look out for from Oak? And do you think Eddie Alvarez maybe underestimated him a little bit?
I think that Eddie Alvarez definitely underestimated Oak. In his first fight against Murat, you really just saw him being more defensive, stuffing his takedowns. But when he went in there against Eddie, he really brought his A game. He stepped up to the plate, and Oak displayed, a great showcase of accurate striking that dropped Eddie Alvarez in the first round and followed up with landing clean strikes and stuffing his takedowns in the second and the third. So for me, my main thing is not looking past Oak Rayun. I think the biggest mistake people make when they fight a guy like Oak is looking past him, because he's extremely durable and he's a very consistently good fighter. So he's always going to go in there and show up and bring his all. And I'm just going to go in there, do what I do, and look to finish him as quickly as I possibly can.
Yeah, you seem to have a lot of respect for him as well. I think the way he asked for the fight was very respectful. Was that part of the reason you agreed to fight him?
Yeah, that was definitely part of the reason. I really like how respectful Oak was when making the call out. Different from how many people are trying to do it these days, where they want to talk smack. They want to make a lot of noise so that people pay attention to them. But, a guy like Oak, he just goes in there, he puts in the work. He won his 2 fights against former champions, and then he was very respectful about his call out as well. So I'm more than happy to fight a guy like that.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that one as well. And I guess just for Angela, everyone's been asking you, about Denise. But I wanted to ask you, what did you think of Ham? What did you make of her performance? She came in with a lot of hype. She seemed to dismiss Denise a little bit before the fight. Do you think she maybe found out the level here is higher than she maybe thought? Just what do you think of her performance?
Yeah, I think that there wasn't too many things in the fight that kind of stood out. Like there wasn't any near finishes. I think that she probably she has a lot of experience, and but I do think I don't know. It's hard to say. I think I respect her experience, but we'll see how she does against the girls in this Grand Prix, because the girls are exciting. They're young. They're hungry. And yeah, I'm excited to see this next matchup of rounds and how the fans are gonna match them up, because I think that's very cool that the organization is gonna be putting that freedom of choice into the fans' hands.
Have you voted yet? Which fights would you like to see in the semis?
I would like to see Ritu and Itsuki, and Stamp and So Hiham.
And I just wanted to ask you about Ritu as well, then Meng. I think Meng was the favorite going into that fight. She had called you out before, said she was coming for the belt, but now she's out of the tournament. Did Ritu surprise you? And what did you make of Meng? What are your thoughts on both of their performances?
That was an exciting fight for me. I was rooting for Ritu just because of how much crap that Mengbo was talking leading up to this Grand Prix. So I was really rooting for her, and it was a little bit nerve-wracking in the first round because she almost got knocked out a couple times. But you could really see after the fight, you could really see how tough she is, and she's a really big heart. So there's no quit in her. And yeah, she just handled her in the second and third round. And after the match ended, you could see it all over her face. Like Mengbo was just like devastated, like what happened? And that was just priceless. So I really think, both ladies got what they deserved.
And if I could just squeeze one in, sorry, just finally your thoughts on the whole picture of this division now. So many exciting fighters, even the women who lost, there's so many matchups you can make. And you got Julie Mizababa who beat Mei Yamaguchi. Just what's your whole take on the state of this division?
Yeah, I'm so happy to see so many new faces in the atomweight division. I think it's great that it's growing so rapidly, especially with this Grand Prix. And yeah, I'm pretty sure after this all ends and there is a Grand Prix champion, we're going to have a top 10. The girls are going to be able to fight each other in the organization. We're not going to be needing to pull in a lot of other girls. And yeah, we're going to have like a top 10 and it's going to be awesome. It's a stacked division.
All right. Yeah. Thanks guys for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nick. We'll limit our media to 2 questions. Just a follow-up for Angela and Christian. Christian, you're talking about how respectful Oak has been. What's the weakest or most disappointing trash talk that you've experienced in your MMA career for Christian and Angela? Christian, you start.
Man, I mean, for me, there's certain people that can actually pull off the trash talk. There's certain people where it's just in them, where they really just can't help themselves, like a guy like Conor McGregor, when he's calling people out, he really means it. And then you got guys like Eddie Alvarez who really try to stir up drama when there is no drama. There's never been anything between me and Eddie. We see each other in the hallway of a fight, and we see each other and everything is fine. There's no real drama between us. But I guess online there is. I don't spend my time tracking it, so I'm not sure what's said out there. But for me, any trash talk, every trash talk that has ever been said from any of my opponents is just a joke to me, and I don't spend any time paying attention to it.
Excellent answer. Angela, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with Christian. I think that a lot of the time it comes off as fake because, people, that's the end thing. Everybody wants to see the drama. They want to hype up the fight and to get the fans excited. And sometimes it just comes off as it's just so corny. And honestly, for me, this whole time that I've been a pro fighter, I've always wanted to stay true to myself and be authentic, and I can't pull it off. If I start talking crap about someone, it's just going to sound ridiculous. So yeah, whenever someone starts to, talk a lot of trash, for me, oftentimes it seems to me like they're just overlooking me. They're too confident in themselves, or they're just trying to start, some drama to hype it up. So I just look past it all, and what counts the most is what happens when that cage door closes.
Have you had any instances in your one career with opponents or potential opponents where it just backfired or didn't work for you?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, for me, it didn't work for me,
or it didn't work for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a funny story with Jenny Huang. That was my first title defense. And, she was talking a lot of trash in Chinese to me before the fight. And, I was like, what is this girl trying to hype this up? Whatever. I was very annoyed going into the fight. And, when I finally got to get a hold of her and we fought, you could see it from that fight. Like, I just had such a great time beating her up. And yeah, it's because she was talking trash. But in the end, it was great for me. I just enjoyed myself that much more.
We'll go ahead then to Luisa, who has a question for Angela. Xiong Jingnan defended her strawweight strap once again last week. We know that you tried also to conquer that weight class. Do you see yourself trying again?
Definitely, 100%. After I face the winner of this Grand Prix, I am going to be moving up to the strawweight division. And whoever is the champion at that time, I'm hoping to challenge them. And that's one of my goals still, capture that strawweight belt.
Next question comes from JM Siasat of GMA Network. JM, go ahead with your question.
Hi guys, good day. JMC Asset here from GMA News. This is a question for Angela. Angela, normally under normal circumstances, a world champion in combat sports would have to defend his or her title at least once a year. Now, next month, you'll be off the cage for 2 years now. So the question here is, how do you react to criticisms that you only get to do this, you only get to do a two-year vacation only because you are the poster girl of one championship?
Well, I disagree with that. First of all, these aren't normal times. There's a global pandemic going on, which has, made it difficult to host a lot of events, and it's been hard for everyone around the world. Second of all, I do think that what Chatri did kind of makes a statement for everyone. It's not because I'm the poster girl. It's because this is just a given, right? I think that I've worked so hard to get to the position I'm at, and just because I get pregnant and I want to have a baby, that I shouldn't be stripped of my title, something that I work towards. I think that because one championship has, kind of shown the way of like, this is what the standard should be. When a woman gets pregnant in her work, like, she is supported and she has a job to come back to afterwards. And, I think that I'm very lucky, of course, and I know that it's going to come with a lot of criticism and a lot of hate, but I know how hard I worked for this, and I'm not just going to, have that taken from me. So that's what I think.
I mean, but the practice, Angela, the standard is you get to defend your title at least once a year. I mean, nobody's blaming you for being pregnant here. Don't get us wrong. We're all happy for you. But, again, you mentioned that we are in the middle of the pandemic, but, people are fighting. Championships are being defended as well, just like your brother here, Christian Lee. But did it ever occur to you that maybe you should take the high road? Nobody's asking you for the title. I mean, if you vacate the title, they're going to fight for it. But did it ever occur to you that maybe you should vacate the title instead?
And who would fight for it? So Denise is so-called the #1 contender. Who would she fight? There was no one else in the division. There's an atomweight Grand Prix that was supposed to be happening, and it was planned before I even announced that I was pregnant. Who would she fight? I think it's ridiculous.
So then maybe if that is the case, you and Denise could have gone at it directly then. If, why the Grand Prix? Right? I mean, and then who's gonna fight?
No, you're
for it?
saying
I guess,
if I was stripped of my title and there was gonna be an interim championship, who would Denise fight?
well, there is a top 5. I mean, there is a top 5 rankings right now that I guess the #1 and #2 can fight for it. It really depends on one championship matchmaking, though. So whoever fights for it, whoever deserves it more. I mean, what about you? What do you think? If ever that
All
was
right.
the
Well, I don't think that you or me have a say in what this organization does. So let's leave it up to the people who actually run the company.
Okay. So I guess that answers the question. You never thought of vacating the title and just take a 2-year vacation. That's it.
No.
Okay. Thank you, Angela.
Apologies to the media. We are running out of time, so we're going to have one final question coming in from Han Kyung of Yahoo News Singapore. Question for Angela and Victoria. We'll go to Victoria first. What are your thoughts on the recent One Empower show. How do you think it will help with the development of the women's divisions? Victoria, we'll go to you first. Victoria, you're on mute.
Sorry, I think that this One Empower card was an awesome event, and I think it's just the start of so many more all-female cards. I really think that female MMA is starting to grow as a sport, and I think that with more all-female cards, it's really gonna showcase all the skills that, all the talent that women fighters have, and I think that what One Championship did is a great start.
Same question goes to you, Angela.
I was very happy and very impressed with One Empower. I think that the ladies put on a very impressive card. From the first bout of the night all the way until the title fight, the main event. It was very exciting, and yeah, I think it should be the first of many more to come.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Have to say a huge apology to the media who didn't get to squeeze your questions in, and a huge thank you for those of you who did get to get your questions in. And of course, a massive thank you to Angela, Christian, and Victoria. We really appreciate you joining us here today, and we appreciate the media with their questions. We cannot wait to see everyone again this September 24th for One Revolution. Remember, there will be fans in attendance, so do log on to onefc.com to find out about your tickets. If you need further information or assistance, please do not hesitate to reach out to the PR team at pr@onefc.com. Lovely to see you, Lee siblings, and all the very best to Victoria and Christian in your upcoming fights. Big thank you to the media. That's all for today.
Whoa. Wow. Angela got heated there, didn't she? That was interesting, to say the least. Who was that guy? Jeez, what did he ask? I wasn't even listening, but he asked something about her, why she didn't vacate the title, I think, when she became pregnant. Very touchy subject, and Angela did not like that. But not gonna lie, it was quite fun to see the clash there. But yeah, it was a fair question, as Galactus and Sepulot are asking or saying in the chat. It is, yeah, but I can understand why people would be touchy about it, or Angela would be. I'm gonna do a button up here. Sorry, there's no aircon on in the studio right now, so a bit hot. You might see me glistening with sweat, but no one wants to see the chest hair, so you can look at my sweaty forehead instead. Although calling a pregnancy a vacation is not great wording. Yes, exactly, Sepulot. I do think that was a bad wording. You could see Angela was pissed off, but I do like seeing Angela heated and fired up. I asked her about Mengbo, and she got a little fired up there as well. Had to get my shit in, guys. Sorry, I asked 6 questions. I hope it wasn't too boring for all of you, but yeah, I didn't realize why they weren't coming to me. I put my hand up right at the beginning, and then I was like, why are they going to everyone else before me? Thought they liked me, and apparently my name wasn't registered on the Zoom call or something. It just said media, it didn't say Nick SCMP, so they didn't know who I was. So figured that out. Then I got my questions in. Everyone had already asked Angela about Denise. Sorry, I wanted to try and get a little bit more out of her on Denise, but didn't want to risk the wrath of Angela. You saw what she did to that poor guy there. I don't know what I would do if Angela turned on me like that. I'd break down and cry. I'd be the one crying this time. Yeah, but anyway, what did you guys make of that? Anyways, did you enjoy it? Drake was in the comments here. He says, I ask things like that. It's just all about the way you ask and approach. Indeed, you can get a question like that out there. I think it's just about your skill as a reporter. like Drake says, you got to frame it the right way. And there have been many times I have not framed things the right way, and many journalists have not framed things the right way to MMA fighters, and the results can be spectacular. Who was it? Was it Matt Mitrione recently? Someone went off on someone really bad because they opened the question with, "Oh, so you've lost 6 fights in a row. How are you feeling?" And I just flipped out. Anyway, yes, Mike Wright says she is the champ, so she needs to answer the hard questions. So don't cry. LOL. Yeah. Do you know who I am? Exactly. I was gonna pull that. Don't you know who I am? Why is Top Soft Sports getting questions ahead of me? And what was that guy asking about Shang-Chi? Who was that? MMA Island, yeah. That was a weird question. But imagine he's writing an article or a feature on that. So fair play, I'll read it. Shout out to MMA Island. Depends on the response. If asked properly, doubling down likely wouldn't be needed. Situational. Drake is giving out some good tips here for any of you aspiring MMA reporters. Listen to Drake. He's got some good advice. In the way you frame and ask a question, it's very important to protect relationships with fighters, because they'll remember if there's someone who asks a stupid question, they'll remember you the next time they see you. Next time you ask, next time you want an interview, they'll say, "Oh, I'm busy." You know, you gotta nurture these relationships. That's what the best do. Let me look at these comments. Drake over here dropping gems. Exactly. Dylan back, undoing your buttons like your top's about to be off. Exactly. I still think it should be Tops Off Sports, guys, not Tops Off. I thought it was for a while, but I've never actually read or seen it. Is it a channel or a website? I'll have to check it out. They're always on these calls, so I like to know who else is covering one. It's great to see more outlets, especially from the US and that side of the world, cover it. Anyways, do they ever read your articles though, or can you be more free in your wording with those? Stepula. Oh, for sure they read. I mean, I think I really stoked that Angela Denise beef last year, the initial spat that this guy was asking about. I think I put an article out. I asked Denise a question maybe in an interview, or I took something she'd written on social media, and then Angela reacted to that. I think pretty directly on her social media, and then I wrote that into an article, and then Denise reacted to that and kind of took a picture of the SCMP post in her social media post. She took a picture of the other article, so they definitely read it. I know Chatri reads a lot of our stuff because I used to get bugged about changing headlines and things like that. They don't do it anymore. They used to be very, very. It might not be Chachi, but someone in one's department of whatever PR, I don't know. But they would always bug me about, "Oh, can we say it this way? Can we say it that way?" I usually try to say no. I'm not going to change it. If it's a fair request, I'll consider it. Andrew, why law in the house? Gonna ask something lively, then gotta finesse it. Indeed, Andrew, what was it like for you? You're the moderator on that. When you hear a question like that, do you kind of grimace a bit? Do you know the reaction's going to be bad? How are you finding your new role as well? And is there going to be more, Andrew? Are we going to see you more on One Championships, media days, and things like that? You're doing a great job, sir. I would like to see you more, but obviously love Gianni, my guy. I don't know what's going on with him, but yes, everyone show Andrew some love in the chat. Danielle Gaspar says that guy's from GMA News, GMA News reporter from the Philippines. Okay, so I imagine he wanted a bit of a Denise Zamboanga angle. Yes, just did not finesse it very well. That's the problem. You've got to show respect to both sides, even if you support a fighter, so to say, from your own country. You've got to be respectful to their opponents and things like that. Maybe it came out wrong, but anyway, yeah, hope you enjoyed all that, guys. I'm gonna get out of here soon, I think, but we will be back with another post-fight podcast tomorrow. Me and Chris, it looks like at the moment. I'm not entirely sure what the topics are going to be. I do have some tentative wish to discuss Zhang Wei Li and Rose Namajunas, but we'll see. I never know what's going to happen when I wake up and I check out the news cycle, and sometimes there's some big things you've got to discuss. But yeah, we haven't really discussed much UFC or anything other than one for a while, so maybe we'll focus on some other promotions tomorrow. Or if there's some big news in one, we'll look at that, of course. Maybe they'll drop the results of the review between Denise and Ham. You never know, do you? Chatri likes to just let these things fly at midnight. I used to get so pissed off because I'd be settling down for bed and I'd be scrolling through my phone like Daniel Cormier tucked up. And then I'd see Chatri dropping a huge card announcement or some big breaking news, and I'd have to crack open the laptop, write the story, or I'd just get to it the next day and there'd be a million other people had already written about it. So exactly. Hopefully he does that just to kind of get it on the US time zone, right? But hopefully that doesn't happen overnight. Ryzen coming up, my man, says Drake. Yeah, why don't we talk about that? If Drake's in tomorrow, let's get Drake on the show if he wants to. Drake is going to be back in action for SCMP on the ground at UFC, I want to say 266. My brain isn't really up to speed on what the next pay-per-view number is, but I think that's it. And he'll definitely be down at Madison Square Garden as well for the Zhang Wei Li Rose fight. That's a stack card, and might be sending someone else with him. You never know. Keep that one quiet for now. Mike Wright, question here: so is one championship going to spread to take on UFC anytime soon? Thoughts? What do you mean in the US? Will they take them on? That's impossible, really, for anyone to take on the UFC at its own game. I think one will have to do it differently. They'll have to make a unique product, and I think the pay-per-view model, that's not for them in the US. I think they're going to have to try and find a TV deal and just kind of go for that angle. Just take it baby steps at a time, though. Let's put a show on first, I guess, if you're them. Let's get an event in the US. Let's do the baby steps before we think about taking on UFC. But Chatri did say to me he wants 50 events a year in the US and 50 events a year in Asia, so 100 events a year. And I think he said something like Fridays and Saturdays. That's what he wants. So, but he did also say that that's further down the line. That's not going to be immediate. So we'll see if that ever happens. I don't know, but that is their plan. I would love to see them spread. I would love to see every organization get bigger and better, and just give people more opportunities to earn money and to have a career. As Sepilot says, the divisions are still too shallow for that anytime soon. Yes, despite what some people will say, there are not enough fighters in the divisions really to threaten the UFC in terms of being so stacked. Some of these divisions, though, are getting great. Like I said on the call there, I think atomweight in one is spectacular right now, and they're beefing up the heavyweights. The men's featherweights and lightweight divisions are very fun, but welterweight, middleweight, light heavyweight, non-existent. Let's be honest. Strawweight's good as well. That's one thing they could say. They have a better men's strawweight division than UFC, because the UFC didn't have one. So they do. Chatri, always announcing via Facebook like a boomer, says WMMAing now. Exactly. I keep asking them, I'm saying, hey, if you're Chatri, why wouldn't you want to put out big announcements through the media, say ESPN or SCMP, maybe? Why would you put it on Facebook? I don't know. That's what he likes to do. Andrew saying, thanks, mate. Always love anything to do with fighter interviews. Yes, very good job. On the Angela situation, Andrew says, it's always interesting if a question draws a fiery response, but I thought it was wrong that her hiatus referred to as a vacation. Agreed, very badly worded. 266 and 268 says Drake, so we won't be at 267. Because that is the weird non-pay-per-view, even though it's got a pay-per-view number next to it. And I don't know what the hell is going on with that. I never really understood. I was working during the Olympics, so I missed all of that. But I think that's the Aljamain Peter Yan rematch, right? Someone let me know what's happening. Why is that the thing? Facebook is bigger everywhere, says WMAC now. I definitely think one's audience lives more on Facebook and YouTube than it does on, say, Twitter, or they have a good Instagram base as well. But it's weird. There's really not much one championship fan base on Twitter. I don't know if you find it like that. Anyone else who covers one, but it's very hardcore base. But there's it's not the way the UFC kind of lives and breathes on Twitter a lot of the times. And there's a big ecosystem there where you'll have Ariel Hawani tweeting fight reports and fight news, and Brett Okamoto will put out his stuff he gets from Dana and the matchmakers. He'll put that out on Twitter, and then it will kind of blow up there and feed the MMA sphere, the online ecosystem, and then it spreads all over. One championship, that doesn't seem to be the way it works. Twitter just hasn't caught on in this part of the world. I think I know definitely not in Hong Kong. Twitter's not big. It doesn't seem to be big in other countries I visited. I don't know why. Anyway, slow and easy right, says Mike. Poke them and see if they bite. Yes, indeed. I think they just need to get a broadcast deal first and put on a US event live and then take it from there. How many articles are you going to get out of the media day, you think? Sepilot. I probably do one each on Angela, Christian, and Victoria. Maybe a couple from Angela. She did say the most noteworthy stuff, I thought, and she is the biggest star of the three still, by far, and that's fact. Angela drives a lot of numbers, a lot of interest in one championship. So yeah, I liked what Angela said about the review. Well, we can do something on that. And I like what she said about Meng Bo to me, so I'll probably write that up for something. Get my clickbait in. Got to do that. Get the views, get the traffic. Start another social media war for Angela on her behalf. Put the seeds down for a fight between Angela and Meng Bo. It's what I do here, guys. It's in Abu Dhabi the week before, says Drake. Week before 268. Okay. So why is it a pay-per-view? Can anyone explain that to me? I don't know. Why has it got a number next to it? I missed it completely. I'm sure there's a relevant response and explanation. Yes. Anyways. Sorry, I'm just looking at something. Okay, yeah. Danielle asking Victoria Lee's opponent. She's fighting Victoria Souza, 2 Victorias, Brazilian, in the opening bout on the main card. We'll see if it's another step up in competition for her. Not sure the last fight was, but she's definitely getting not too tough a test right now, and I think that's the right way to go with Victoria Lee. You don't want to throw her into the deep end straight away. But yeah, it seems like it could be another step up here. Victoria Souza, undefeated, 5-0 from Gladiator. 4 finishes of those 5 wins and 1 unanimous decision. There we go. Undefeated fighter. It always looks good when you beat one of those. WMAC now. What do you know about Victoria Souza as well? WMAC now. I'm sure you do already have a complete dossier on Victoria's new opponent. He's saying the MMA media all lives on Twitter, so Twitter announcements would reach bigger Western audience that way. Yeah, and I just don't think one has a presence on Twitter. I don't know if it's something they want to address, but they really, yeah, it probably is something they want to address, but because they don't make waves on Twitter at all. Andrew asking, one day we need a big SCMP mass tour to a big numbered event, UFC 300. Well, Andrew, I was briefly considering somehow going to 268 for Zhang Wei Li. But I don't want to sit in a hotel room for 3 weeks on the way back when I get to Hong Kong. It's just not possible. So I'll pray maybe next year there's some way I can go to an event. Yeah, I wonder if I'll go to a UFC event before I go to another one event. Might be better odds, actually. I'm just hoping next year. Written off this year. I wrote this year off at the beginning of 2021. I said I doubt it. Anyways, Mike Wright saying Angela Lee and Itsuki are the reason I learned about one championship. Yeah, they have a lot more social media reach, right? Especially on Instagram. Itsuki's a star. No one's really talking about her. I was going to ask Angela about her. I forgot. Drake Riggs likes the way you think, Andrew. Indeed. Big mass trip for SCMP. We'll do it one day, guys. And Sepulot says, I believe it's still a pay-per-view in countries without ABC like Canada. Okay. So poor old Sepulot's got to fork out his $79.99, whatever it is, to watch this event. And then he's got to do it again the next week if he's a diehard fan. We'll see. WMMA scene now on Victoria Souza saying her record looks good at 5-0, but all wins against debutantes, same as Victoria's other opponents. Paper Tigers. Very well put. Yeah, it looks good, doesn't it, on paper for Victoria Lee if she wins this fight, just like the last one. So perfect matchmaking, I think, for one at the moment. There's no point. A lot of people saying, why isn't she fighting in the Grand Prix, or why don't they put her against so and so? Are you kidding me? They're gonna put Victoria against some of these experienced atomweights? No. It's gonna be like this for the next 2-3 years, I think. Definitely all of next year. They'll get her up to kind of 8-0 against similar opponent levels, and then when she's about 18, maybe 19, they'll put her in against a Ji Hinradzuan, maybe a Bina Wen. I don't know. What do you think, guys? Maybe I'm being too conservative. Maybe they'll jump the gun sooner, but at least let her finish school first. She's got to do those, I don't know what they call SATs. I don't know how it works in America. In Hawaii. Sepulot saying, if you think I'm forking money for the pay-per-view, you're nuts. There are ways. Well, better watch out. Dana White's going to come for you, Sepulot. You'll be in jail. You won't be able to watch the streams anymore here. Don't do that. We need you. Victoria will have a record like a boxer, says WMA scene now. Yeah. I think they're definitely going to get it up towards 10-0 before she fights anyone really, of repute in that atomweight division. And not a terrible thing. It looks good for sure. But let me in. And we'll review AEW for Dial-An real quick. All right. I thought you had the logins, Drake. Sorry if you've been asking me for it. I'll let you in like the fiend. How do I do this? What's up, Web? Okay. Drake's coming in, I think. Let me give you the link once it loads up. Okay. There you go. No excuses now. You don't turn up, Drake. Mike Wright saying Itsuki is coming along. She got popped, came back hard. She's learning fast. She's still young in MMA, though. Yeah, I was very impressed with Itsuki against Elise. I think a lot of people wrote Elise Anderson off. I picked Elise to beat her. Now's the moment of truth, though, and we'll see what level she's really at, whether she's still a little inexperienced. So I think she's now 5-0. I think that's correct. Clarissa Shields. Is that just what do I think of Clarissa Shields? Impressive debut, I guess. The opponent level wasn't too high, but I enjoyed the fight and the way she fought through adversity. When's she back? Have they already done her second fight? Let me check. PFL, I've kind of drifted off paying attention a little bit. Someone tell me. I know she had another fight lined up, but I've given Drake the link. Is he gonna join us? I think that's what the people want. They want to see Drake Riggs on the show. I'll find out what he's doing. But yeah. Otherwise, if Drake doesn't turn up, I will wrap things up. Shields fights next month. Okay, thanks. Appreciate that. I did have it in the back of my head. She was fighting again. I just was worried that I'd actually missed it because I haven't really seen much of the PFL's last couple of cards with the playoffs. It's just on at difficult times for me sometimes, PFL. And they keep changing days. They keep doing... Some days it'll be Friday mornings here. Some days it'll be Saturday mornings in Asia. So I guess Friday nights, Thursday nights over in America. Yeah, same as these MMA fighters, easy fights in my opinion. Oh, here he is. Big shot in me, Drake.
I didn't think you were actually going to let me in.
Of course I will. Yeah, you should always be ready.
I know. I know. That's on me in that case. So, yeah, that was something. I didn't expect.
You can't dangle a Drake Riggs appearance for me and for the people and then not deliver on it. I'm going to hold you to it. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. No, I'll bite every time. So.
Okay. Good. Well, I don't know what else to say. What should we do? What can we talk about? Do you have anything to talk about?
I mean, I was teasing the AEW stuff, but I don't think there's that many people who actually want to talk about that.
Yeah, there's no what's his name? Bones Jones.
Oh yeah, he and I have talked about it plenty on the weigh-in shows. He brings it up like every time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was thinking, yeah, we need to start some kind of wrestling podcast in some fashion. Definitely.
Yeah.
I don't know whether we can house it on this channel, but anyone have any thoughts on that? If you'd like to see that, let us know. I know there's a few fans out there who enjoy wrestling and MMA, but there's a few MMA fans who hate wrestling.
I mean, kind of hard not to after that last event. I mean, geez.
Yeah, it was very good.
I still have a love-hate with it, but it was just so fun, I think, this last show. And I mean, I think the only wrestling shows I've actually sat through and like watched, because I usually just like watch highlight clips for the most part, like all in one thing of the show. But I watched the Royal Rumble when we watched that one together earlier this month. Not together, but at the same time. And then yeah. And then this last one. And I enjoyed both of them. So
yeah. It's always good to watch with Drake in some capacity.
Exactly. So, and yeah, as for the 267 thing though, I would imagine the only reason they're not, or why that's numbered still, I think something happened with, they didn't know if they were going to go to Abu Dhabi at that time or something. So then it ended up being then, and I don't know, a bunch of stuff with the world and location things,
Damn you, world.
Yep.
I gotta undo this button. Sorry, you got to see my chest hair. It's so hot.
I saw that at the beginning. I was like, we got sexy Nico today.
It's so hot. There's no aircon in the studio here. So no choice, guys. Hong Kong is very hot, in case you didn't know. What is it today? 28 degrees. What does it feel like, though? Feels like 34 degrees. See, because of the humidity, which is 82%. Incredible. All right, nice. Enough of a weather update. Gordon,
sexy Nico is all elite.
Tarps off, baby.
Yeah.
Exactly. What was Gordon saying about
Oh,
Shinya? Shinya is the most deserving of a title shot after Oka. I'd love to see Aoki and Alvarez fight Christian before he tries to win the welterweight title. Yes, Gordon, I agree 100%. I think that will really close the chapter for Christian on that division. Definitely. Those are because Shinya, he won the belt off him. I do think Shinya pushed him enough to really deserve a rematch in some capacity. And Shinya's been on a tear. I think he's had 3 in a row, maybe 4 in a row since then.
Yeah.
And Eddie is the money fight, and if Christian beats Eddie, that really solidifies him, I think, in one's eyes and in UFC fans' eyes. And then he can go up to welterweight. Perfect matchmaking there from Gordon. Mike Wright saying, who will Angela Lee fight next? Pick, they will have to win the tourney, so you're picking both.
Yeah, I mean, still Ham for me. I'm still riding with Korea's GOAT.
Ride or die.
Yep, gotta. I know, what is it, two-faced, or what do they call them? Fairweather fans or pickers, yeah. Fairweather picker. Since Nick's always riding me about my picks, at least he used to.
Yeah. At least you make picks. Leon makes no picks. He sits on the fence. He's got
I don't think I've ever seen a Leon pick.
No. I think the winner of the tournament, probably Ham now. And I said all along, if Denise beat Ham, I picked Denise. Otherwise, Ham will win. And then I think Angela. Oh God, do you think Angela will beat Ham? What do you think of that?
That's tough, because the interesting thing to me about it was kind of hard to tell with the Denise fight, because obviously Denise's most success came with her control and trying to wrestle and all that stuff, which shows a little bit of, all right, maybe you can argue that Sahi still struggles at least a little bit with opponents who are bigger than her. And I don't think, we speculated how much bigger Denise might have been going into the fight. And I think looks wise that she didn't look too much bigger, but I don't think she's ever fought at 105 before, right? She hasn't made that weight. So just by default, I think she's the bigger, maybe more naturally stronger athlete, even though did bulk up plenty and was shredded in this fight. So with Angela, I mean, Angela's bigger than practically, most everybody in the division, and against somebody like was it just like some rustiness from Sahi in this fight because she'd been out for a while, and now I think it will help that she got this fight out of the way and continue on, getting the reps in again, as always, no matter how much experience you've had. But the size in that one makes it very interesting. On the feet, I think Ham's fine, against most everybody, but then on the ground, will Angela be able to get her there? And if she does, then of course, I mean, Ham's very good on the ground too, and a savvy grappler, but of course we've seen what Angela is able to do, very tricky. And then the size again. So it's tough, man, but I just favor that experience. She's been there, seen it all, but that's probably the toughest one simply because of the size difference.
WMA scene now says, I think stab is tricky for Ham. Ritu could wall and stall or lay and pray. Tsuki is easiest for Ham. Yes, interesting to see these semi-final matchups. Who comes out against who? We'll see. Angela will probably beat all of them, says Mike. But every dog has its day. Ritu should not even be in this. Yes, well.
I mean, she kind of proved she should, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, we can't take that away from her. She performed amazingly to come back and win that fight. But, technically, if she was taken out, I don't know. We've moved on. But
so this was
I think if B should have gone in, I stick by that. If B beat Ritu, put B in, not the other two they tried to put in. But then Julie looked fantastic against May. And what do I know? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it would have made sense to do it that way, but I don't even think they should have done that B fight in the fucking first place. So that's a whole other thing. But
yeah,
I was gonna mention, Nick. I caught this during the media thing just now, but there we go. Yeah. I didn't realize
the button. That's what I wanted.
Yes, I know you did.
Applaud you.
I didn't realize that Angela thought that she should have beat Nicolini. Has she always felt that way?
Angela
Did you notice
thought.
that?
What did she say?
She said, you know, that she's been on the wrong end of decisions before. I was like, well, she didn't get decision by Jingnan,
Oh,
so
okay.
that would
Oh,
mean
she
she
thought
thinks
she won
she.
that fight. No.
That's how I interpreted that.
Well, so she didn't say directly, or she said, like, I've been on the wrong end of decisions too.
Yeah, when she was talking about Ham and Zamboanga. And I was like, well, because that's the only one, right? Unless I'm forgetting another decision. Those are only two losses, right?
She lost a grappling match to Nicolini as well in Macau, I think it was, or somewhere. I don't know if that's what she meant. She was like in tears after that one. And then the one in Kuala Lumpur, she definitely did not look like she thought she won after that. She came in to do a scrum and again was kind of in tears. She answered about 3 questions with 2-word answers, and then she bailed after 4 minutes. And it wasn't like she was giving an impassioned plea saying, I won that fight. That's ridiculous. I got robbed.
Right.
The way that B Nguyen came in a couple hours before her after losing to Bozena, and she said, that's bullshit. I won the fight. And, you know, I agree with her. She did win that fight. There was none of that from Angela then. I don't know why she thinks she beat Nicolini. She did not. That was clear win for Michelle. If it had gone 5 rounds, something like that, if it had been a title fight, I think Angela was coming into it more. I think if you scored it round by round, she won the 3rd round, but Michelle Nicolini won the first 2. It was a fight. It was a real nothing fight, to be honest. They just grappled a lot, and then Angela got a few shots off away in the 3rd round, but nothing Michelle couldn't handle. I think the Panda really showed how to deal with Michelle. I think Angela wanted to test her grappling against Nicolini to show that the grappling match loss was like an aberration. She wanted to prove that wrong. I think Angela should have stuck to striking the way Panda did. Just let her up. If Michelle was on the ground, let her up. Anyway, woulda, shoulda, coulda. One is never notified going to have Ritu in the Grand Prix.
Never not, he meant. Yeah.
Never not.
Yeah.
Was never not notified. I don't understand it. Sorry.
No, she was never not going to be him, I think is what he means. So like,
not okay. One was never no notification for anyone. Okay, I see. One was never not going to have Ritu in the Grand Prix. They just played us like a fiddle. Then played with our emotions.
Yep.
Oh my
God. Had to do the fancy dangle card, which wasn't even in India.
Yeah. It's like, okay, India's a market for you, but do you need to do a card for them in Singapore in the middle of a pandemic? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but that is not playing favorites, says Mike Wright. I don't know, what was that comment in relation to? Yes, good point, Drake, says Sepilot. Re Angela and the decision. That's her only decision loss. So she must have been talking about that. Okay. Killer B is just too small, says Mike. If she was a little taller. Yeah, I've talked about this before. And
well, she's like a real atomweight because again,
real atomweight. Yeah,
the one championship atomweight is not real atomweight. It's strawweight, 115 pounds. So being a win at actually under 5 pounds, that's where she should be. But it's always tough when you're like, well, one's a big organization, so it's kind of conflicting, you know. But yeah, agree there with Mike.
What would maybe she could consider rising, perhaps?
Yeah, I mean, that would be awesome. And right now, you know, they can definitely use new faces. You know, we got that Seikezawa versus Park fight coming up here, which I'm very excited for. That seems like a very clear, not a what do you want to say, trial or whatever, but both of those ladies will be in Ryzen one day. So yeah.
What when is this next Rising card, Drake?
That is on next week? Yeah, it's next Sunday, next Saturday. Yeah, Saturday, Sunday, the 19th.
Well, maybe we'll do a little show after all. depending on
let's
what
do
you have got on your plate. But we'll see. The people want you.
What
to
can I
talk
say?
about Rising as
What
well.
can I say?
It's really getting hot in here, so I can't stay much longer. But I'll try and get a few more questions in. Danielle saying, this new batch of the female division of monsters. I wish Jackie Buntan was also part of atomweight. Yeah, do you think Jackie would ever go into MMA, Drake? I think
Well,
Muay Thai is
Jackie's
her
pretty
bag.
young, right?
Yeah. She got business first in the strawweight Muay Thai division, getting that belt if they ever make it.
Yeah.
You never know.
I think it'll happen. I mean, MMA is the main sport in one championship, and like having those options there is just very, very enticing, I think, for everybody. We've seen enough crossovers at this point. I think that it's fair to say that. And with Jackie, yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you want to try it out? It's just right there. I think that's the thing about one championship with the other sport involvement. It's like, well, I can. Why not? We've had Mighty Mouse play around with the idea. Hasn't pulled the trigger yet, but we'll see. We'll see.
So Pilot wishes one would do a card in Canada. They could call it One Canuck. I wouldn't even mind it. They've got enough Canadian fighters for sure. Maybe I'll float that idea. We'll get Chris to float the idea. He's got the power, not me, to chat through. Alvin Yakatori, good evening to you, Alvin, as well. Good to see you. You joined us near the end. Sorry, we just having a quick little chat now, but we did have the Lee siblings were on earlier, but definitely we'll be back tomorrow morning around the same time. In some form, I'll be here, I think, with Chris, and I'll see who else is available to talk all things MMA. Yes, Ghost Phantom is also here.
There he is.
What's up? And he's saying he's been to Jackie's seminars. She's focused on Muay Thai. There we go. Definitely get that vibe from her as well. But like Drake says, the level of the MMA, I guess, is not so daunting to try and come in as a complete rookie. There are opponents they could match you up with. If you wanted to have a fight, they would probably do it a la. I'm trying to think. I don't know. You know what I mean, hopefully. Buntan is too fast for most of these fighters, says Mike. They need to take it down and ride it to win. Yes.
Well, as they most likely would try to do.
Dylan wants to be involved in One Canada.
Old Dylan.
Yeah, I'm sure they would involve you, Dylan.
I wanted to go back to something, Nick, when who was it that somebody asked us about Aoki or mentioned Aoki.
Gordon.
Gordon. Did you do you think they'll still try and make the Sage fight?
Okay, so
I don't think they shouldn't. I don't think.
Shinyu said he's signed or he's had a fight contract offer.
Okay.
He said that the other day. So I don't know if it's Sage, but Sage has been pretty quiet, and I know he had the long COVID. That was months ago, though. He may have recovered from that now.
Hopefully.
I don't know. I don't want to see that fight, though. Really, I don't. I don't think that's a good fight for Sage. That is Shinya all day for me. And like Christian said in there, he's not really called Christian out, has he? He's happy just kind of mopping up a few other people first. I think he's just enjoying fighting every few months as much as he can. I think just making as much money as he can, getting that record
he's
up.
got nothing left to prove, he's at that stage.
And if the title shot comes, it comes, and I think it will come once. Christian beats Eddie. I think Shinya is the only one left, really, like Gordon you're saying there, who Christian hasn't beaten. So unless someone like Peter Baust went on an insane run, or Antonio Caruso, but really there's no one else. Anyway, what's going on here? Sage was overblown. Sorry, says Mike. Yeah.
Well, yes. I mean, it was also terrible terrible debut matchmaking. Like they did him zero favors, you know. But
it was actually spiteful matchmaking.
oh
you think.
yes,
It was
yeah.
as if they wanted him to suffer and they wanted to punish him. Yes, really, really think whoever put that together, insane matchmaking. And seeing Chatri defend it afterwards was bad as well. He should have put his hand up and said, "We got that one wrong, guys. Yes,
Yeah.
sorry."
I mean, he broke the man's face, Chatri. Come on.
Yeah. I think that's just his default reaction, right? To defend if someone would criticize, and that is what a lot of promoters will do. So I'm not blaming him or anything, but it was a bad fight for Sage.
Yeah.
What does Nick think of Hamasaki versus Fujino? I don't know Ghost Phantom. I got no fucking clue. I'm gonna leave that one to Drake. He's the Rising guy. I'm the one championship guy. My Rising knowledge is very low. I'm gonna be frank about it. But maybe Drake can inform me. What should I think of Hamasaki and Fujino?
Oh boy, well, Ghost knows what I think about this, and so does all the WMA Today crew, the Kana Army. But yeah, no, Hamasaki, obviously, in my opinion, the atomweight goat, and I think a lot of people have come around to that now. It's between her and Sahi Ham, and we're getting a rematch that I did not expect, Nick. I actually floated this out there, though, as a possibility for this event after Hamasaki's last fight on Drake's Takes, my other podcast. It's kind of gone now.
Drake's Takes, wow.
Yep. Yeah, great name, right? I was surprised that it happened. I didn't expect it. I thought it was a slight possibility, maybe at strawweight, but instead we're getting it at super atomweight, 108 pounds. Fujino dropping down. This is a rematch. They fought before in 2012, I want to say 8 years ago, whenever 8 years ago was. Hamasaki won because Hamasaki barely loses. Fujino, an absolute pioneer of the sport, has been around since I want to say 2003-ish too. That time fought so many people, Zhang Weili, Yan Xiaonan, Megumi Fuji, list goes on and on. She's the current Pancrase champion at strawweight. So I think I said already this will be her debut, and her and Hamasaki are very good friends now. So like, there's so much great story to this, and two very important figures in women's history who know each other very well. Again, like I said, I fought before. Very, very exciting and unexpected rematch again. Not for the title, which is a bummer, but at the same time, it's champ versus champ, so not going to complain too much. At least they're getting the fight, and it's great for Fujino to get a spot like this on a big platform and promotion like Rising, because she's never been really on one that like people consider like the major worldwide promotions. You know, she was in, well, I guess she was in the World Series. Yeah, I think she fought Jessica Aguilar as well. So aside from that one, I mean, she's been everywhere for the most part. But yes, two legends of the lower weight classes, that's for sure. So get hyped, Nick. Come on.
I'm hyped. I've done my shirt for it. Yeah.
Yeah. And there we go. Ghost has the breakdown coming next week. Don't miss it. Monday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time.
Did you do your show today?
Tomorrow we'll do that. So
okay.
I will miss the this show that we'll be doing with Chris. I apologize. Unless we wrap in time, but we'll see. Again, nothing to preview this week, so it should maybe be shorter. But yes, you guys, WMA Today for this week is tomorrow over on the Scraps channel, 6:30 Pacific time.
Yes.
But this is also true, what Chuck says right here.
Yeah, Hamasaki versus Fujino just shows Rising's run out of domestic opponents for Hamasaki. Need the borders to open.
I mean, yeah. The only person left that is currently like in Rising, affiliated with Rising, is Rena, who is also very good friends with Hamasaki, and so much so that like she says she doesn't want to do it unless it's for something like a tournament or retirement fight or something like that. But Hamasaki is not the same kind of feeling. But either way, Rena's not taking that fight. Unfortunately, it would be very fun to see. And then again, the other girls I mentioned that are kind of outside and not quite on that level yet. I mean, there aren't many people on Hamasaki's level. Just kind of maybe her, Kana, and Sohee at the moment, I think you could say. But yeah, no, they kind of need, Hamasaki specifically is starting to need, well, and Rising, I guess, the world to open up a little bit more.
Yes, Mike
It's
asking.
completely forgetting about the rematch. It happened already.
Yes, yes, there was a rematch. So Panda Zhang Jinan beat Angela first time, 5th round TKO after a real war in Tokyo. That was Angela Lee's first loss, and then she lost to Nicolini. So 2 losses in a row. That was a tough time for Angela. She got it back with 5th round submission. So definitely at some point they will do that fight again, I think, for the strawweight belt. Christian kind of alluded to it, didn't he? Said, so some idiot, I don't want to say idiot, but because I don't know who it was. Sorry, someone asked, will Angela and Victoria fight, and will that be marketable?
Well, I missed that. I must have walked away from the computer when that happened.
And it's like, if you know anything about the Lee family, if you know 1% of like how close they are, and they would never fucking fight each other.
Even if you didn't know how close they were, I think it's a safe thing to just assume.
Yes, it is. That was a bad question, but then he did say, he was Christian's very good at just negating stupid questions. Like, he doesn't get fired up the way Angela did. If someone asked a stupid question, you saw what happened there. She got pissed off. Christian kind of takes the other tack. He just doesn't let it bother him. He'll answer it respectfully, nicely, and not saying either approach is better or whatever. But Christian said, "Yeah, I think Angela will move up and fight for the strawweight belt by that time that Victoria is ready, and then Angela will vacate the atomweight belt, and then Victoria will fight for the vacant belt." So definitely, it seems
Angela kind of said that too, right? So
yeah, but it seems like there has been some talk in the family and with One. The Lee family very close with One and Chatri, so I'm sure they've game planned it. They've kind of put a rough time frame together of when it'll all happen. But things often don't go to plan. So
very tough division, as we've been talking about this week. Victoria is going to have her work cut out for her as well.
Yeah, and there's no guarantee Angela still has the belt by the time Victoria gets to the point she wants to challenge for it, and there's no guarantee Victoria will be able to win it. Like Drake's saying, it's a very competitive division now, and like we saw with the Grand Prix, there's no gimmies anymore in that division. Alvin here, love Alvin, love to see him. He's excited to see Miss Hamasaki fight and rooting for her, but also wish Miss Fujino a good performance. This guy Alvin,
we need the applause for Alvin.
Yeah, I've only got this. I mean that's the wrong thing, but I've got my soundboard. I'll get some applause ready, but you can have applause. Just such a positive guy, Alvin. Love having you on the shows, and you need to release some kind of inspirational tapes or speeches. I don't know. Just infect everyone else with your positivity. I love it. So good to see. So it was 3, says Mike. Yeah, indeed. The trilogy. It's definitely somewhere down the line, I think. And I don't think Zhang will lose the belt anytime soon. There's no one in her division. I don't know what she does next, to be honest. I really don't.
It's got to be Ayaka, right?
I guess. But I guess
that's what a one fight. Yeah, just a one fight, one streak.
Chatri just offering the Lee family enough dollar, says Chuck. Yes, they are definitely. I think he mortgaged the company on Angela. Really, she was the star from the beginning, or the one that really broke them out. The early 20. I want to say 2016, 2017, around then. Am I right?
When she won the title?
When she kind of exploded onto the one championship scene.
Yeah, it was around there.
Yeah. Arjan Bulla versus RDR would be nice, says Dan.
Oh my.
Chatri does not want that at all. RDR but Chatri said no. Arjan said no. Chatri wants RDR to defend the belt first. I think they're going to do RDR versus Abasov on the anniversary show. And then I think Arjan, I don't know who Arjan will defend against. Chatri doesn't seem interested in Kang being Arjan's first opponent. So I think they may give it to the winner of Amir and Anatoly are getting a strange vibe. That's on the Revolution card. Amir Ali Akbari and Anatoly Malikin. I think they want Amir Ali Akbari in the picture because of his following. He has a big following on social media in Iran. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Amir fast-tracked above Kang for a title shot, even though Kang knocked him out. That is so dumb, says Ghost. They spar with each other every day. What would be the point of Victoria and Angela fighting each other? Yes, it was ridiculous. Just like Angela said, her and Adrian are the extroverts, while Christian and Victoria are the introverts, says Mac. Yeah, definitely. I've never seen Adrian, do a public appearance or talk, so I don't know, but definitely Christian and Victoria seem more introverted. Angela is an extrovert, like you say, Mac. Very good point. And maybe that's why Angela's a bigger star as well. I don't know. She definitely leans more into that kind of. She'll do the trash talk. I like that about Angela. Christian Victoria, very respectful. Not saying Angela's not respectful, but I don't think you'd ever hear Christian and Victoria trash talking. That's why it is funny a little bit when Christian throws some low-key shade at Eddie Alvarez every now and then. I enjoy that. That is the one, the strawweight belt that Lee wants, says Mike. Yes, she definitely does. I don't think she wants to keep making the atomweight weight as well. It's tough for her. Very tough. But I don't think Victoria will end up as an atomweight. I really don't. She's already bigger than Angela, I think, in terms of height. And
yeah, that's the thing is, she's still growing. Like she's not even fully an adult yet. Like
So. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Atkins. Says Alvin, I just love seeing high-level fighters compete. They deserve all the respect in the world. This is another applause. That's all I've got. I don't know what the best button for it is. Not that one.
Where's the sparkles?
No. The crickets. The sparkles.
There we are. That's the one.
There you go, Alvin.
Those are like all not happy ones, except for that one.
Yeah. We got like the UN speech or whatever it was.
Yeah. So funny.
I don't know who put this on the soundboard. It's getting removed as soon as I play around with it. We'll put some applause on there. No love for Kang. Well, I think Kang deserves a shot at Dylan, but one don't seem to want to do it. And Arjan wanted Kang. Ali Akbari, aka the self-proclaimed real Iron Sheikh. Yes, very entertaining guy, but too overconfident against Kang. Paid the price. But he's an entertaining fighter. So Victoria will go to strawweight by default on size. I think so, Mike, but I think she may even end up higher than that, and they might have to build up that the next division. And then you've got, I do think they'll try and bring Nisha back eventually. I think so. One may end up having to build bantamweight, featherweight for the women.
I don't know about that, man. There's too slim pickings. There's not enough bodies in the world. Like, unfortunately, like the UFC struggles with it.
Well, yeah, I asked Chatri. He said, "Wow, we could do that, no problem." It's
gonna look like PFL's lightweight, man. I'm not confident in that.
Well, they better hope Victoria stops growing then. Yeah. Yeah, she's very tall already. She's only 17, and I think she's taller than Angela. And Angela's big for the division. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyway, we hit 2 hours. I should probably leave it. Cause I don't want to overrun. It is now midday, so I only booked the studio till midday. So I better leave in case someone else needs it. So I would say good night. What does Kenny Omega say? Before he was so rudely interrupted by Adam Cole. What's his catchphrase?
No, Brian interrupted him. He was saying,
after Adam Cole had come out and rejoined the Elite.
I watched it so many times. I don't remember.
Yeah, I've watched it a lot. Yeah. Goodbye and kiss his finger gun. Good night. Bang. There you go.
Dialing right there on the money.
Yeah, Dylan. There we go. Thank you, Dylan. Yeah, thank you everyone who's watched today and asked comments and asked questions and left comments. It's been really, really fun. Goodbye and good night, says Bobby. Indeed. It's been great. I appreciate it. Yes, I'll be back tomorrow around the same time, 10 a.m. Hong Kong. Around this time, we'll be doing something. I don't know what we're going to be talking about. We'll figure it out. But I'll be here with Chris, it looks like. And maybe we'll bring in some stragglers like Mr. Drake. We'll see. Or JHK. But it's been fun. Check out scmp.com/MMA. I'll have some articles up on the Lee family media day they just had. I'll be bringing that all out on written form for you in case you want to read it. You were so excited. You've watched it already, but you want to read it again. And then Drake, give yourself your plugs. Sorry, what have you got coming up?
Yeah, well, I'm going to write something
I'll turn on your name there for you. I've put it on. Sorry.
Yes, there
in
we
case
go. At
anyone
Drake
didn't know,
_
they can find you there.
Right there. At Drake _ on Twitter and Instagram, of course. And yeah, I'm going to write up a little something for the Angela Lee comments there, bjpen.com, right after we get off here. So I'm going to beat you to it, Nick. It's a race to the finish. But there will be that. We can share transcripts. It'll be okay. So, yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah, I know. Mortal enemies now. The WMA Today podcast for the week will be tomorrow on Wednesday here in the States, 6:30 Pacific time, as usual. That is PM. And then we'll go back to Mondays, the normal time. Ghost Phantom in here, Alvin. The regulars always tuning in. There's Ghost helping us out. His breakdown for tomorrow is secret. I'm not going to reveal it to you guys, but check it out. He gives us good stuff every single week. Next week, though, spoilers are out. It is Emi Fujino week as we get ready for Ryzen 30. But yeah, so that'll be tomorrow. Still getting actually the transcriptions done for my Marloes Kunin chat. Not the full thing because that's saved for the big project, but there'll be a little bit of something on that coming out this week before I go on a little mini vacation. And I did a little bit of a fan-inspired write-up today, actually. Somebody mentioned the idea of a retrospective of sorts on the careers of Meng Bo and Zheng Weili and kind of where they started to where they came from. So got that coming, going to drop tomorrow. Wrote it all up today and everything, put it together. So look out for that on mymanews.com. And yeah, that'll be it since not a lot going on this week. As I said, no events. We get a little break, Nick, and I'm going to go to the beach with like 10 of my buddies. We rented out a place, so it's going to be a little crazy.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Shit. All right. You better send me a Zoom from there. I want to see what's going on. I'll bring you in on a podcast. You can tune in from the beach house or whatever.
There we go. Yeah.
I'm getting American Pie 2 vibes.
Yeah. I'll be very incoherent likely, but it'll be fun.
Okay. I forgot to say throughout this whole thing, please like and subscribe, guys.
Yes,
please. It really helps us. Just if you haven't already, subscribe and just hit the like button. Helps us with the algorithms. Gets more people seeing this. Appreciate support. I had to share this as well. Someone left a comment on an old Denise Zamboanga interview. I just found it funny. They've given her the nickname Shamboanga for being a sore loser. Yeah.
They just commented that?
Yeah. And now that the fight is over, we learn that Shamboanga is a sore loser. No class. All right. Poor Denise.
Yeah, I know. It's her first loss. Come on.
Yeah, and it was very close. Okay, guys. Alvin's excited to see that, Drake. He loves both Miss Meng and Miss Sang. I'm excited to see it. Yeah, go check that out. Otherwise, we'll see you guys tomorrow in some form and capacity. Enjoy Drake's show as well. And after he's finished that one, hop on over to ours and watch both if you want. Not pushing you. But anyway,